Okay, so true story, 100% true story. I grew up in a really, really small town, like 2,400 people small. And I got my license at 16. And my parents had one car, but they didn't want me to have a key because they only had a certain number of keys to go around. Well, my parents made a key for my sister because I had to have one. They were being very conservative. But the key that they made it didn't work. So they threw it in the garbage. And I thought, well,
Oh.
that's weird. So I picked it up and I compared it to the key on my mom's key ring. And I realized it's only slightly too big on one little notch. So I took a file and filed just a little bit of it down. And I figured out that if you put it in, turn the key, and then pull the key back out, it would turn the rest of the tumbler all the way around, and it would start.
Huh.
So I would sneak out of the house in the middle of the night and steal my parents' car. This
Oh.
went on for a couple of months, and my parents were starting getting a little suspicious of something going on. I mean, I went to the extent of when I was required to do a science fair project, I did it on sleep cycles so I could figure out how deeply when my mom would be the most asleep because I had to sneak past their room down some really creaky stairs to sneak out without waking up my parents. Like I went the full mile on this. So like again, small town, backcountry, lots of farmland, not much anywhere. And I got bored. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And so I'm down this backcountry road and it's a Pontiac Grand Prix. It's late 90s, and I have the speedometer pegged. It stops at 110, and I see lights, like just regular headlights behind me. I'm not worried about it too much. And then like 2 minutes later, they're red and blues, and I panic because I'm 16 years old in my parents' car who has stolen it. I'm like, oh no, oh
Anki's
no.
telling a story. Don't be jump scaring me right now. I'm listening. Sorry,
So
go ahead.
so the cop comes up to the car and he says, "Did you know that in this state, if he hits someone going that fast, it's considered manslaughter? It's also a $5,000 fine, and I can take your license because you're under 18." And I'm like, "Oh no!"
Whoa.
And so he asked for my license. I gave it to him, and as he's sitting there talking to me, still like chastising me because it's small town. I know who this guy is. I see him all the time. In fact, I used to do ride-alongs with some of the other officers to pull people over in the interstate. So this is
Yeah, he
almost a
knows
little
you, your
personal.
family, and
Oh,
your family's family.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So
Yeah.
he's got one of these speakers on the top of his car, and the speaker starts going nuts. And he says, "You stay right here."
Oh,
And I'm like
okay.
sweating bullets, going, "Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god." And he comes back a couple minutes later and says, "You got really, really lucky. If I ever see you speed again, I'm writing you up for this ticket because I can." And he takes the car, goes off. Well, apparently, on the interstate, a tanker truck had tipped over, and that was a higher priority than writing me a 127 speed ticket. He
Oh,
clocked me
you got
doing
so lucky.
127. Yeah. He's like, "Do you know how fast you're going?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "I had it pegged." He's like, "I clocked you doing 127." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Goodness gracious, Anki.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Pontiac, that's so 1900s.
Right, right. Very.
Oh
I I
gosh.
didn't tell my parents that story until like 3 or 4 years ago. And my mom goes, "I knew something was going on. I just couldn't figure out what it was."
Wow. You got away with it.
I
You got
did.
away with it.
I did. Oh, when you live in a small town, you make your own entertainment, and sometimes entertainment is slightly not legal.
Little dangerous. Yeah. 39% good gum drop.
Oh,